Hey, my lovelies, and welcome to this episode of Coach Cara's podcast, Itchy, Bitchy, and Guests. Here is what we actually know about the perimeno and the meno. All right, perimenopause and menopause. Here is what we actually know. So, to start with, what I'm seeing a lot of right now is women in midlife having a drama, justifiably so, all right, that their body has turned against them. So all the things that we used to be able to do, we can't do anymore. Everything hurts. It's a wee bit sore. There's a lot of symptoms going on that we're not used to. We're dealing with that. How we feel within ourselves is a bit different. We're trying to deal with that and not be an absolute dick. Perimenopause symptoms can make us feel fatigued, lethargic, like we can't be arsed, we've lost all the joy in our life. This is just the mental symptoms: self-doubt, imposter syndrome, feeling inferior, feeling unworthy, feeling like we've got nothing to say. And then on top of all that, all the physical symptoms that we feel are happening to us, like changes in our skin. We might have itchiness, we might be all dry and itchy. I love that word. Itchy, bitchy, and guess we might be bitchy as well, actually. Just all the physical and mental symptoms. But your body is going through changes, absolutely 100%, right? And that's never going to stop. That is the perimenal. And it's about, quite often, it's about how we deal with them. So accepting the fact that you think that your metabolism is broken, accepting the fact that you feel like, well, just accepting the fact that nothing works and then just giving in. And also continuing down the path to believe that you need a special plan or a special diet or a special supplement just to cope is not going to do you any good. It's just not going to do you any good whatsoever. So today, I'm going to speak about that. Excuse me, I've totally got something stuck in my throat. And I'm going to tell you what is actually true and what is a pile of shite. All right, so based purely on facts, scientific evidence, and a little of my own experience, obviously. Right, so things are changing. We are absolutely not in denial that things are changing, all right? The perimenopause is an absolute transition in your life. And there's two ways you can deal with it. You can totally give in, or you can fight it and come out the other side stronger. Yeah, I want you to remember, ladies, that it is tough. Absolutely, right? And if you're going to sail through the perimenopause, you're probably going to be in the minority. But I also want you to remember that we can control way more than we admit that we can, and we can make ourselves feel better way more than we admit that we can. Because if we admit that to ourselves, then we are actually accepting responsibility and taking accountability. And that's always a little bit harder. So I'm going to deal in facts, not fear. All right. This is some of the things that are actually happening in the perimenopause. Your estrogen drops, right? That's a given. Most people know that. Estrogen, progesterone, and your testosterone, all right? But estrogen is directly related to fat storage. So your body can, not necessarily 100%, remember that each individual woman, their perimenopause symptoms and the strength and the weakness of those specific symptoms will be different for every single person, for every single woman. Yeah. So estrogen drops, right? We all know that, which can make more fat be stored around about our midriff, right? Which is why there is the phrase, the meno belly. All right. So you won't necessarily gain body fat in the perimenopause. And if you do, it is not due to the perimenopause, but it's probably due to your lifestyle around about the time of the perimenopause, right? I have spoken about this loads, my lovelies, and if you scroll back, this is like episode 99 of my podcast, right? I have literally spoke about it probably for at least 30 of those episodes about midlife weight gain, midlife fat gain, right? I gained 2.5 stone. It wasn't the perimenopause. But when I look back with hindsight, which is an amazing thing, all right, it was absolutely my lifestyle around about that time. So the perimenopause does not cause fat gain. However, your lifestyle around about the perimenopause can cause fat gain or body weight gain. And also, where your body stores fat might be different from where it used to store fat pre-perimenopause. All right. On top of all of this, we have muscle loss because our estrogen and progesterone and testosterone are dropping. All right. We can have muscle loss, but even if your scale weight doesn't rise, your body fat percentage can. So it's all that internal fat that you can't see. All right. But if you're losing muscle and gaining body fat around your tummy area, your body shape will change. Your scale weight might change. It might not, all right? But you will look different. One of the best ways to deal with the perimenopause is to accept your body as it is now and then decide if you want to make some changes. And if you do want to make some changes, go all in. All right. We have a higher risk in the perimenopause, a higher risk of heart disease and metabolic issues. Right. And a lot of this, again, is to do with aging, but a lot of it is to do with lifestyle. Our bone density declines as well, which is why as we get older, we can have more broken bones and more snaps. I was going to say that's actually the same thing. Snap a bone, break a bone, same thing, isn't it? It's still going to hurt. But there are things that we can do. All right. So we're also going to have more fatigue. When I gained 2.5 stone, I gained 2.5 stone because my lifestyle changed. Right now, I had major fatigue, and I'm not just speaking about tiredness and I can't be arsed. It was physical, bone tired fatigue. I know that sounds quite dramatic, right? But on top of all of that, if you add that onto imposter syndrome, feeling that you had nothing to say, feeling that you weren't particularly important, it seriously does not make you want to move off the sofa, all right? So I get that. So we have things that we can do to counterbalance this. And this goes back to me saying to you, I don't want you to accept it, right? So everything that I've just said, right? Estrogen drops, body fat stored around the middle, muscle loss speeds up, your body fat percentage can rise even if your scale weight doesn't. We do have a higher risk of heart disease, metabolic issues. We have our bone density declines, and we have more fatigue and brain fog. Do you know, when you just can't actually your brain just goes empty. All right. Now, that might all sound a bit doom and gloom. It's not. That's fact. All right. But this is the next bit, this is the bit that we forget, or we don't know, or we don't think about it. And it's easy just to push this bit aside, whereas this is actually the most important part, all right? Every single one of those things that I have mentioned, fatigue, brain fog, bone density, higher risk of heart disease, muscle loss, body fat storage, every single one of them we can influence. Now, I'm not saying we could totally make them disappear, because we can't, but we can influence them, and we can push back how quickly they're going to escalate. That is a true story. I swear to God, true story. All right. So resistance training, strength training, lifting weights, whatever you want to call it, body pump, CrossFit, kettlebells, dumbbells, body weight exercises, whatever you want to call it, all right? If you can move your body weight and some extra weight, you will protect your muscle and you will protect your metabolism, all right? So we want to protect our muscle. We want to keep the muscle that we have eat your protein, ladies, but we also want to build muscle so that when our muscle does decline, it declines from like the age of 35, all right? We still need to keep building, or we're going to end up just like a big flopping about like a big wet fish with no muscle and no muscle tone. Do you know, midlife ladies, I hear it all the time. I want to get toned. You need to, tone isn't even a thing, by the way. It's just like losing body fat and building muscle. But if you're comfortable using the word toned, use the word toned, all right? But it comes from lifting weights. It absolutely comes from lifting weights, all right? The best way to burn calories is weight training, strength training, resistance training, whatever you want to call it. That will change your body shape more than hours of cardio every week. Kid you not, all right? If you can improve your relationship with food and improve the quality and probably the quantity of food that you are eating, this will support your fat storage. Now, we need body fat, all right? Maybe most of us women, me included, would like to be carrying a bit less body fat, but we still need body fat. It protects us, all right? It keeps us warm. We still need body fat. We just want to eat to a level to not support excess body fat, all right? Also, your nutrition, when you are nailing life and smashing life with your nutrition, ladies, and fueling your midlife body, it will give you more energy. 100% it will give you more energy. And we all need energy in midlife, all right? Being in an excessive calorie deficit at our age will do you no good whatsoever. Won't do you any good at all. We need to fuel our midlife bodies. Movement. We need movement, ladies. We want to move. Now, I'm not necessarily speaking about the strength training and the resistance training that I was speaking about a minute ago. I'm speaking about daily activity. I'm speaking about 10,000 plus steps a day. For your mental health, getting out in the fresh air is scientifically proven to be one of the best things you can do for your mental health, all right? It is good for us. It makes us feel alive, and that is always a good thing. It also reduces health risks. It prevents what we call lifestyle diseases, so lifestyle cancers, type 2 diabetes, etc. So movement, looking after our body, these are both amazing things for the perimeno, all right? Crash dieting is horrific. It's horrific. Do you know, I didn't know this when I was younger, right? I absolutely used to survive on coffee and cigarettes and the odd bar of chocolate or takeaway or whatever, right? Very rarely, didn't eat a fruit, didn't eat a vegetable, etc. Thought I was totally cool just because I wasn't eating, right? But crash dieting, and that's bad, obviously. But crash dieting at our age is even worse, all right? Your bones will start to disintegrate. They will disappear. Your energy will absolutely tank. Your hormones will be even more all over the place than they are at the moment. You are doing yourself no good whatsoever. Fueling your body, all right? Most midlife women would do very well on at least 1,800 calories. Right, so the government guidelines are that they say that you need, an average woman needs 2,000 calories, right? If you were eating 2,000 calories of good quality food, I tell you, honestly, you would be absolutely flying through life, absolutely flying through life. The risk of you getting cardiovascular lifestyle diseases would decrease. You would have way more energy. Your brain fog would practically disappear. I can't even say brain fog. This is hilarious. It would practically disappear. You would have more energy. You would feel like you were a better person and a nicer person. I kid you not, ladies, if you could fuel your body for midlife instead of starving yourself, honestly, my heart would be absolutely singing. All right. So, loss of estrogen, right? It accelerates abdominal fat storage. Your body fat patterns change. Diet and activity can majorly cut back on this. You can't control it 100%, all right? You can literally control where your body's going to store fat like you control the weather, right? You absolutely cannot do it. But diet and activity, so sorting out your nutrition and movement, will absolutely help rein that in and will give you powers of control and accountability, which in turn will increase your confidence and your self-belief and will make you feel awesome, all right? Also, loss of estrogen accelerates muscle loss, which can in turn increase body fat percentage, even though your weight doesn't change. So just think your muscle disappears, you swap that over for body fat percentages, all right, your scale weight can stay the same, but you might notice that you're getting a bit flabbier or your tummy's getting a bit bigger. Resistance training, strength training, weightlifting, these can all meaningfully impact this. This is about taking control, ladies. It's about choosing what you can control, controlling that and not stressing about the rest, all right? The transition, so coming into the perimenopause, it increases certain risk factors independent of aging, all right? So, for example, if you're perimenopausal, there is a higher chance you will get type 2 diabetes, right? It doesn't mean you're going to get type 2 diabetes because you'll be moving, you'll be training, and you'll be improving your diet. And if you do all of those things, you're not going to get type 2 diabetes. All right, type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle, and it comes from consistently overeating highly processed foods. If you do not consistently overeat highly processed foods, you will not get type 2 diabetes. All right. It is reversible, ladies. It is a lifestyle disease. So the transition into menopause can make it more likely that we will get lifestyle diseases. However, it doesn't mean we will. All right. Declining estrogen accelerates bone loss. Excessive calorie deficits will make this worse. So if you are under eating, ladies, your bones are all going to break. That's slightly dramatic. I'm being a bit sarcastic there, all right? But to keep your bones strong, your body needs calories. Eat your calories, all right? Fatigue and brain fog, absolutely two symptoms I have dealt with in the perimenopause, and I still deal with them occasionally now. They're just a lot less. But excessive calorie restriction, excessive calorie deficits will make these worse. Yeah, so we want you to move. I want you to move. I want you to lift weights. I want you to go out for walks, and I want you to improve the quality of your nutrition and more than likely improve the amount of calories that you are eating. I kid you not. Yeah, not overnight, not asking you to be perfect, but I am asking you to do all of this with intention. So this is another little truth bomb for you ladies, all right? Your metabolism is not broken. Absolutely not. Your body will still respond to training. There is no magic menopause workout, and there is no secret menopause diet. Shocker, eh? So here's all the things that work. They still work, right? Nothing changes. Everything changes when you hit the perimenopause, all right? But as far as diet and exercise are concerned, nothing changes. You don't need anything special. Protein still works. Protein retains the muscle that you have and builds muscle. Fiber is amazing. It gives all the vitamins and minerals that you need. It keeps your gut healthy. It keeps your bowel healthy. It stops you shitting bullets, and it gives you nice soft poos that don't hurt on the way out. We want all of this, all right? Balanced meals. If you do not want to count calories, ladies, that is totally cool, all right? If you're not counting calories, follow the Eat Well plate. Half a plate of fruit and veggies, quarter of a plate of protein, quarter of a plate of starchy carbs, and a little thumb-sized piece of fat, whether it's butter, salad dressing, whatever your thing is, all right? If you do that 3 times a day, you will be doing way better than most perimenopause midlife women. Strength training. We're building the guns, ladies. We want a sexy back. Yeah? We want a peachy ass. We want all of those things. That comes from strength training. It protects your bones. It protects your joints. It's good for fat burning. It's just good for everything. It'll actually make you feel awesome. Kid you not. Walking and moving more. Of course I want you to walk. Of course I do. Every day, at least once. And I would like you just to move. So if you come home from your work and you've done 6,000 steps, all right, what I don't want you to do is come in and sit on the sofa for the rest of the night. Of course I don't want you to do that. I want you to come in and lace your trainers up and then toodle away back out the door. Or I want you to incorporate a lunchtime walk out in the fresh air. Or I want you to go for a walk in the morning. I would just like you to do something. It will make you feel awesome. Yeah. So all of these work, right? They still work. They have always worked. But when we're younger, we can be a bit of a dick and we follow the fad diets, right? This is the time in your life to just go back to basics and to do all the boring stuff really, really well. It actually matters more that you do them consistently now than it did when you were younger. All right. There's a lot of overcomplication as well, ladies. We overcomplicate things. We are midlife women. We can be dramatic, and sometimes because of all the propaganda that's out there on social media, on podcasts, on YouTube, on everything like that, all right, specifically the fitness industry, and there's a lot of charlatans. Will I use the word charlatans? There's a lot of charlatans out there that will try and sell you stuff, right? If anybody is hammering on about one thing, this is the only thing that works for menopause, this is the only thing that works for the perimenopause, this is the only thing that works for midlife, right? Chances are they're a bullshitter, because there's not one thing at all. It's like saying there's only one diet, right? The definition of a diet is to be in a calorie deficit, eat less calories than your body needs, all right? There are so many ways you can do that. So many different modes that you can use to be in a calorie deficit. So if anybody is pushing one thing, one supplement, one diet, one training plan that's best for the perimenopause, right, they are absolutely trying to rip you off, 100% trying to rip you off. I actually feel quite passionate about that. Did you notice that? So what do I want to say to you? Yeah, right. So the fitness industry and the health industry, do you know, there's a lot of, some of the health information out there is actually becoming, the wellness information is becoming a bit toxic, because people are barreling, they're trying to barrel through everybody and trying to get everybody on board, and they can be quite aggressive about it, that there's only one way that works, and there's not. There absolutely is not. But what I'm trying to do is give midlife women the confidence to try different things to find out what works for them. I always share what works for me. Does that mean it'll work for you? No, it doesn't. And I would never push that on anybody, but I would ask you to try. So if you're doing something at the moment and it's not working, I would ask you to have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of patience and a little bit of trust in yourself and try something different. All right. So please be aware of anybody that's like, you need this hormone plan, you need this special menopause diet, you need to do this fasting window, you need this specific supplement. All right. No, you do not. But you might need to try certain things. All right. What we don't need at this time of our life, right, when our brains are absolutely feel like they're going to explode, we're dealing with fatigue, we're dealing with self-doubt, with imposter syndrome, with all the physical symptoms, we do not need more complexity. We need consistency with the basics, the easy things. Eat the protein, go for the walk, sort your sleep out, have a shower before you go to your bed, put your phone away, stop the scroll of doom, drink your water, eat your fruit and veg. It's the simple things that have always worked. That's what we need. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Ladies, honestly, I cannot. Do you know what? I love how I always start off these podcasts like all contained, and then I get like just a bit excited. I am so passionate about making midlife women understand that they have way more control over the perimenopause and their midlife than they think they have. Yeah. So I want you all to accept responsibility, to have accountability, to take control, to trust yourself, and to build confidence. Because doing the basic things, this is what they will do. It will give you control. It will teach you to put yourself first, and it builds self-trust, which builds confidence. Every time you show up to that workout that you've said that you're going to go to, every time you eat and fuel your body in a way that's going to support your midlife, every time you go for that walk, instead of thinking, oh, well, I fucked it now and I'll just restart again on Monday. Every time you do that, right, you are proving to yourself that you are worth it. Kid you not, all right? So, perimenopausal women respond to exercise and training. I'm totally reading this, by the way, all right? Exactly like their pre-menopause counterparts. And it's about the same as men respond to training, all right? There is nothing changes. We don't need to do anything special. The only thing you might need to do is tweak. There's a lot of things that we're more likely to have as perimenopausal women. Like there's a higher rate of joint pain, a higher rate of knee pain, a higher rate of hip pain, a higher rate of frozen shoulders. So the only thing that you might need to do is actually work around any injuries or pain that you have. But overall, nothing changes. There is no special set of exercises that work best. Structured training works best. Pick the days of the week that you can train and go train. Doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you enjoy is the best, because that means that you will stick to it. Yeah? Include resistance training, resistance strength, weightlifting, right? And a wee bit of aerobic. We still need to fire up the heart and lungs. We just didn't need necessarily go running 7 days a week type thing, all right? Jump on the bike, jump on the rower, do lots of burpees. Why would you not want to do lots of burpees, all right? Anything that's going to get your heart and lungs, make you slightly out of breath and get you sweaty is absolutely amazing, on top of the weightlifting, all right? What matters is what feels sustainable for you, because if you can sustain, just say you pick 3 training sessions a week. If you can sustain 3 training sessions a week for a year, that will do you more benefit than 7 training sessions a week for 2 weeks, because you'll crash and burn especially if you're trying to go for 0 to hero, all right? So what you enjoy and the amount of times that you can do it, that you can sustain that and be consistent, is absolutely the way to go, all right? Personal responsibility. Yes, I'm absolutely not denying that the menopause, the perimeno, brings challenges. You all know my story, all right? If you don't know my story, go back and listen to my podcast, especially the ones nearer the beginning, because I literally think that was all I spoke about how fucking horrific it was, right? And I started these, I think, a year ago. So things have improved, all right? The menopause, the perimenopause, midlife brings challenges. Absolutely. I will never deny that. But handing all that power over to somebody else or to your hormones, that's what's keeping you stuck, ladies, all right? You need to acknowledge that life can be harder at this time, but you also need to take ownership of what is in your control. And we are way more in control than we think we are, all right? On top of all of this, ladies, noticeably absent from my little chat here is HRT, right? Now, that is a conversation for you and your medical practitioner, right? I am absolutely an advocate for HRT. I am on HRT, all right? It is not a magic cure. For me, HRT helped with the mental symptoms. So it helped me understand that I wasn't a lost cause. It helped, I would say it helped sort my head out. Right now, I was going to say I wasn't in a deep, dark depression. I probably was in a deep, dark depression. But it's not a miracle cure, right? And if you're not going to change your lifestyle and you're just going to slap an HRT patch on your arse and expect miracles, that is not going to happen. But HRT might just help you, it might just help you sleep, right? And for that, it could take your hot flushes away and it could give you an unbroken night's sleep. It could then give you 2 unbroken night sleeps and then weeks and weeks and weeks of unbroken night sleeps, all right? Connected If you can sleep properly, everything will feel less dramatic. Your brain fog will clear. You will have the motivation, the discipline, whatever you want to call it, to eat better. You will actually want to move. You will want to exercise. And all of those things will bring control, accountability, responsibility, self-trust, self-belief, and confidence. And that can always be a good thing. That can never be a bad thing. So I specifically haven't spoke about HRT because it's not a miracle cure. All right. And like I said, if you're going to not change your lifestyle, stick an HRT patch on your arse and expect miracles, it's never going to happen. You need to be willing to change your lifestyle just a wee bit at a time, obviously, to coincide with HRT. However, saying that, there are many women out there that are going through the perimeno and the menopause and midlife without HRT because it's either not for them or they can't use it. So there are things that you can do. Yeah. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to try and keep it simple, ladies. All right. Try and eat regularly, 3 meals a day. I kid you not, right? If you've not been doing that, life changing. Add protein to each meal. So pick your protein first, all right? Get some Greek yogurt in there for your breakfast. Get some ham for your lunch. Get some chicken or mince for your dinner, all right? Just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be super technical. Go for a daily walk. That could be 5 minutes to start with. Amazing. Go for a daily walk. Lift weights a couple of times a week. True, all right? Sleep as best as you can. Put your phones away. Have a wee shower. Read in bed. Do some journaling. That's your building blocks for midlife. Yeah? Do what you can, ladies. It's worth it. Midlife, it's the fucking best.